to the Radar Free Press studio for another edition of Along the Rock. I'm your host, Mark Morris, and with me today, an unusual lady in that she just keeps on plugging along, and she's 90 years old. And I know you're not supposed to talk about a woman's age.
But you do.
My mother taught me that, and she always claimed to be 29 her whole adult life.
Yeah.
But it pertains to this story because Nancy is still working at CGH Medical Center as a volunteer. By the way, good to meet you. Thanks for coming over.
Oh, yeah.
She had no trouble getting up our stairs, which are actually like 2 flights, and she walked faster than I did. So I'm guessing you've been in pretty good shape your whole life. Is that true?
Yeah, that's true. Right.
Okay. Well, when did you start your job at CGH?
Well, actually, when my kids were still home, I was a volunteer at CGH on other stuff too. I delivered newspapers and things like that. And then I quit because they went to school, and then I got part-time jobs.
Okay.
So I didn't volunteer anymore. But then I still like CGH. You know, I've lived here all my life.
Sure.
So I see people I know. Yeah. So I went back to do that. I think she wrote down 2009.
Okay.
Yeah, right. But I don't really know. I haven't kept track whatsoever. But that's not the only place I volunteer.
Okay, where else? I didn't know this.
Yeah, that's just one little, that's a section on Wednesday morning. On Tuesdays and Thursdays in the afternoon, I volunteer at the Lee County Council on Aging.
Okay.
Which is a senior center.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Quite active too.
Yeah, right. They really are now. So I'm there 3 hours each afternoon, Tuesday and Thursday. And then that came through Lifescape. Do you know Lifescape at all?
Not really, no.
Well, they're kind of an offshoot of Meals on Wheels.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, they are in charge of that. So they get grants, and I think it's more with the government, the federal government. So this comes all over, and it has all sorts of things that you can volunteer at. United Way. And they're now also helping at the hospital too.
Okay.
But I just don't know who all is sponsoring this, who all is paying for it all. We don't get paid, but for Lifescape, if you have to drive outside of town, you get paid so much for your travel. So that's too in Dixon. Then in Fulton, I just started about a year ago at the Anderson Nature Center. Do you know where that is in Fulton?
I've heard of it.
Yes.
I don't think I've ever been there though.
It's right next to the Heritage site.
Oh, okay. Heritage Canyon?
Yeah, it's right next to
Okay.
it. They're sort of intertwined. And so I've been going there every Friday afternoon. And there's an impact organization here in town. Have you heard of that? It's Impact for the college kids. So he lots of times has them come out and help volunteer too.
Okay.
And then they get free tuition or free books or something there.
So you do a lot of driving.
Yes, I like to drive.
Probably a good thing.
I just bought a new car. In fact, I'm kind of laughing because I bought a new car, and I bought a new cell phone, and I bought a new kayak.
That's right. Now that I do. You're a kayaker too. I did that for a while, but
Did you?
we had to move from Wisconsin down to Iowa, so I had to get rid of it. It was a kind of a cheap one.
Oh, mine is too. And that's why I had to get a new one, because I would just drag it along instead of carrying it, and finally got holes in the bottom.
Yeah.
But here in Sterling, you can put that kayak on the front of your yard, and it'll be gone in a couple of hours.
Oh, yeah.
It's pretty nice.
Yeah. People love it. That's good exercise too, I would imagine.
Yeah. I have to have help getting out and getting in is okay, but getting out, standing up.
Yeah, I remember that too.
Lots of times you fall in, but there's the Yak Yak sisters, so they help me. Yeah.
That's the kayaking group. The Yak Yak Sisters?
Yak Yak Sisters, yep. Karen Miles started that, and she's just real active in it. Every Wednesday evening at 5, and then when the time gets different, we may do it at 4 instead, because we're running out of time. And then we go as long as we can until it gets too cold, because none of us want to fall in when it's cold.
That's for sure.
Yeah.
Is this always on the rock, or?
Always at the Hennepin Canal, Route 30.
Oh, okay.
We take off there and we come back to the river, and then we go back to Route 30. So that's about 4 miles.
Yeah.
And 2 hours it usually takes, because we gab.
You yak is what you do.
Yeah, we yak. That's exactly right.
Yeah,
So,
that's a good stretch of the canal, though, too. I mean, it's,
oh yeah, it's nice, yeah. And then the other thing I do that I've really been doing since 2000, I go up to Rockford and I work out in the, let's see, what's it called, Land Institute, Natural Land Institute.
okay.
Yeah, up there.
Don't know that one.
Don't know that one? Well, then there's also the Winnebago Forest Preserve.
Okay.
And that's what I'm doing right now. And then in between there is Severson Nature Center, I think it is. It's for kids to come out and learn about. So I've been in all of those places, and that's usually on Tuesday morning. And when I first started out up at Natural Land Institute, that's so hard to remember because it's national. No, it's natural.
Natural, okay.
Yeah. I used to do it Wednesday afternoon, but this one now I'm at Winnebago, and we're working in the Coleman Dells, and what we're doing is cutting down all the honeysuckle. Because they're they just take over everything, the honeysuckle. Did you know that?
No, they're an invasive species? Honeysuckle?
Mm-hmm. In forests.
Had no idea.
Yeah, people plant them, and the birds like them, and there's some good to them, but they can take over all the good trees. They don't really kill the trees that are there, but when those trees leave, they jump right in there, so then the new ones don't get new, like old trees or,
They crowd them out.
Yeah, that's exactly what they do. So that's what I've been doing. And I was there yesterday, and the flowers are just magnificent. It's because we planted a lot. Didn't plant them. We actually just threw the seeds out. We collect some seeds, put them in a bucket, and then just walk around and throw them out. And it works. They grow.
That's all it takes, huh?
Yeah. Yeah, we don't water it or anything. And most of the time it works, yeah. Yeah.
That's great. I know, speaking of invasive species, I know when my dad used to teach at a little college down in Tennessee, and the kudzu down there was the big thing, trying to keep the sides of the roads from running off when it rains and that sort of thing, but they took over everything.
Is that what it was for? I didn't know why.
Yeah, well, that's why they started using it, but then it wouldn't stop. They had to,
it hasn't stopped.
To burn it out,
yeah.
And you can still see it down there. It's everywhere. So
that's what, and for something that's not got trees in it, it wouldn't be invasive. I mean, you kind of like it for your yard.
Yeah.
And things like that.
Sure.
But then it gets carried away.
So why did you start in the first place volunteering at CGH?
Because I had that time.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I didn't work, and my husband provided for me, Back when I got married, you weren't expected to go to work.
That's true of most people, most women.
Yeah, most women, yeah. I did become a nurse, and I worked at that sometimes. I like that word sometimes. It was fun with the babies. I enjoyed that a lot. Yeah. The babies, okay. And I worked as a secretary, and I've worked many times, but I get bored, and so then I go get a different job.
That's a good reason. I myself retired about 4 years ago from my full-time career in radio, and I thought, well, this is great, just sit around, do anything I want to, but that gets boring too.
It does. And I say I'm volunteering, but I'm also doing it for myself.
Sure.
I have a reason to get up every morning.
Sure.
In
so
fact,
what do you actually do from day to day? I know you ride around in that cart.
Yeah, at CGH,
Yeah.
that's all I do, is right around in that cart, because they have other people, other volunteers inside.
Yeah. So you pick people up and take them to another department?
Oh,
or?
I see what you're asking. The parking is pretty big. It
Yeah.
holds over 100 cars.
Right.
Okay, so they've got some areas right close to the door that are for the people that have canes and things like that.
Okay.
And then all the rest of them are just a jumble. Well, a lot of the people nowadays drive themselves to the doctor.
Sure.
You used to, you wouldn't do that. You'd have somebody drive you. But there they are with their canes or their walkers. And from the Locust Street to the building, that seems like a long way to them.
That is a long way.
So that's what I do, is I pick them up and take them to the door. And then when they get done, we have walkie-talkies. They have a doorman tell me to come and pick them up, and then I pick them up and take them back to their cars. That's all I do.
So you stick to the sidewalk, or do you go out in the street?
There is a street that goes through it, but there's a stop sign there, so not too many people take that.
Mainly the parking lot then, huh?
Yeah, it's a parking lot, right. Because then there's a road here, and then the CGH, the hospital parking lot is here, whereas I'm in the clinic parking lot.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, I bet you didn't know that, yeah. Locust to the clinic, that's where I go.
Okay.
Yeah. And sometimes, when we first started, it was like maybe 7 or 8 people is all we took. But then sometimes you get as many as 30, depending upon who's there and
Yeah.
the weather.
And the condition.
Yeah, right.
Of the person.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. I see more people than I know, because the older people are the ones that need the ride. So I get to see people.
well, and because you've been around here for a long time,
Right.
you're probably able to get them to relax a little bit more than they normally would.
Right.
Because they're going to the hospital.
Right, yeah.
So.
They do tend to want to talk to me, and I talk to them. So, yeah, I enjoy it.
Okay.
Yeah.
What is it you like most about volunteering, just in general?
In general, I see people. Because I'm 4 years ago, my husband died, and I could be not seeing anybody if I didn't keep getting out and doing things.
Sure.
So yeah, most of it is being around people. Even if I don't talk, I still see them, and oh, that lady needs to work a little harder. I hit that in my brain. Oh, there's a pretty lady.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it's always something, but I think people need people.
Yeah.
It's kind of a tired old saying, but Barbara Streisand sang
I was just
the song.
thinking that. I
They're
just
the
heard
luckiest people in the world, people who need people.
people, right?
And even if you don't think you do, you really do.
You really do, yeah.
No matter how shy you are, or no matter how grouchy you may feel or think you are,
Yeah. Yeah.
there's always somebody who has something worse.
Always, yeah. Right.
And I suppose that's why there's so many senior citizens you see at McDonald's and
Yeah.
these other fast food places.
Having coffee.
They got these little clubs, coffee
Yeah.
clutches.
Yeah, yeah. We did that when I was first married. We had about 7 girls from this high school. We graduated together. Once a month, we'd have a coffee catch. And that went on I still sort of am with two of the people that are left, so many died.
I was going to ask you about that, but
Yeah, there are 2 people left that we still see every once in a while, yeah. So, yeah, you start way early. Back then, we just had kids, and we needed more information from the other mothers of what to do.
sure.
Yeah.
And you want to know what's going on in the real world, too.
Right.
Because when
yeah.
you're stuck inside all the time, you find yourself talking baby talk. And,
Right.
it's a little hard to interact with other adults when you're around nothing but children.
Children, yep, that's
My
right.
wife and I are kind of doing it. My wife in particular is kind of doing that. We have 4 great-grandchildren
Do you?
that live about 4 blocks away
Oh,
from us.
nice.
And she has for 6 weeks straight, she babysat them full time. We're talking 10, 12 hours a day.
Oh.
And she'd come home, and after about a week, she just came home in tears because she just couldn't do it anymore that much.
No,
Now it's, one day a week solid, and then, a few spots here and there, pick the kids up from school because they've gotten older, and that kind of thing. And of course, we both love them. I go over there and start pillow fights with them, so it wears them out a little bit. Not to mention wearing me out.
Yeah, right. That's for sure.
Yeah, it's it's you've got to have contact. No matter what kind it is, you've got to have it.
Have you read Barbra Streisand's biography, autobiography?
No.
It's 1,000 pages.
Really?
And it's little bitty print, and it's big pages. I read every word in there.
Yeah.
She is fascinating.
And her mother told her she would never make it.
Yeah.
Because her nose was too big and
Yeah.
lots of other things. But she was bound and determined, and she started singing professionally when she was, 17?
Yeah, right.
So.
She's amazing.
Yeah.
Truly amazing.
So if you had to say one thing to a person who was on the fence about going out and mixing with people in any way, whether it's volunteering or working even, because there are a lot of people, older people who are, working for money, what would be the first thing you'd tell them if they couldn't decide whether they wanted to do it or not?
Well, you have to mention that it's a big help, too, for the people. And I usually forget to do that because I'm always thinking of how it's good for them. But it's really good for all these people that they help are really important and don't get it any other way. So that's why I say you can feel good about helping somebody.
It's not busy work, it's real work.
It's real work, right, yeah.
So.
At the senior center, I'm mainly a service secretary. I file and I fold things and send things and I call people. And that's what I'm doing now is we call all of our members every 4 months and ask them how they're doing. And that's fun too because they start jabbering. Oh, I just got back from Hawaii. Oh, you're doing fine, yes.
That must be nice.
Yeah, but they're 65 and older. And,
sure.
Yeah. So, yeah, I would tell them that they help them and they help themselves.
Well, that pretty well sums it up, I guess.
Yeah.
So, Nancy, thanks for stopping by.
Oh, you're welcome.
It's great talking to you.
You too.
Obviously, you're still very energetic. That's I guess the most important thing.
You have to.
When it comes to what you can do.
Yeah, right.
So.
Yesterday I fell down on my bicycle and kind of hurt my back, and I thought, oh, no, I won't be able to work. But no, I was able to work this morning.
Got right up and got back on it.
Right. Do you know, have you heard of Irene? She's a singer in Rockford who was brought up as a Mormon and almost died because she was a Mormon and went to the South to do their ministry. And you probably don't know that, but she's a singer. And her husband is who I work with at Winnebago.
Okay.
And she's making music to go along with her beliefs, her things that happened to her and how she's getting over it. Her name is Irene. Look it up sometime and see if you can see it. She's a pretty lady, a pretty girl, 21, 22, something like that. Anyhow, I'm going to go. They're making movies or whatever you guys are doing to go along with her songs. Yeah. And I'm in one of the episodes.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I had a line to say, and I had to say it exactly like she had it printed down there. Boy, that was tough. I admire her.
Take 13.
Yeah, right. Just put it together. I think like you're going to do here, take out the bad parts.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
We try. So.
Anyhow, that's been something that enlightened me. I thought being an actor was easy. You just memorize your...
Not always.
No.
Some people just come into it naturally, but...
Yeah, some people like the comics, huh?
Yeah.
Well,
keep up the good work, will you?
Oh, I will.
Yeah. We've been talking with Nancy Gates, who is, again, I know I'm not supposed to say this, but she's 90 years old, still volunteering at not only CGH Medical Center, but at many places. And kayaking, working at a couple spots. Got more energy than I do, I'll say that. And this has been today's edition of Along the Rock. I'm Mark Morris, and I hope you can join us next time. Stay tuned.